Hi gang, this is Wayne and you're in my kitchen here and we're going to make lasagna today. And it's a really simple recipe and I'll work your way through it. And it is really good. It has 5 different cheeses in it. So here we go. I'll first start off with what you're going to need. Okay, this is what you're going to need to make lasagna. All right, I'm going to start left to right. You're going to need a wood spoon, a good heavy one, and a spoon holder because that'll keep your counter nice and clean. We need some lasagna. You're going to need 9 pieces of lasagna, so what in really good shape. So I usually cook 10 just in case one breaks down. We have a lasagna pan. That's a 9 by 13 pan back there. I have my grandmother's steel pan down here, skillet, and that works really well. Okay, then what we're going to need is extra virgin olive oil. I have 3 pounds of ground chuck here, but I'm only going to use 2 pounds. I will get to what that blue thing is in just a minute. We're going to need a little kosher salt. You're going to need tomato paste, a 12-ounce size. I have put up tomatoes from the garden. I'm going to use them, but if you don't have that, a 14.5-ounce can of tomatoes. I have a medium-sized onion, a sweet onion from the garden. I have garlic from the garden. That's the remains of the parsley from the garden, the fresh parsley, so it looks sort of bad, but it'll be fine. I have Italian seasoning, and then we get into the cheeses. I have ricotta. Let me turn this one around. There you go. There you go. Part skim ricotta. I have part skim mozzarella. And then we have back here Asiago, Romano, and Parmesan. I also have ground pepper I'm going to be putting in this, and I have kosher salt. So that's what you're going to need. I will write this all down. This little doodad back here is a really neat little thing to cook your pasta in. It's called the pasta cooker. You can get them online. They're really cheap. It will cook the 10 pieces of lasagna in about 12 minutes in the nuke on high. A little water, a little pasta. I do my noodles, my vegetables in there, and then has a drain cover to drain it all out. You put this on after, don't put this on to cook, all right? So it's pasta and more. Works really well for cooking the pasta, but does not then get rolled to death in a big pan and all broken up. So that's what we have. So this is what we're going to start with, and we'll start putting this thing together. Okay, so we're going to start. I have the fan on, so you'll hear that in the background, the exhaust fan. The pan is getting warm, on medium here. It's smoking a little bit, that's fine. We have exactly 2 pounds of meat over here, ground chuck. And what we're going to do is just put a little bit of olive oil in here, extra virgin olive oil. There we go. That's good. I always love to get the smell of the olive flowers going there. Run that around a little bit. And then I'm going to start adding in the meat. Whatever you do not salt the meat at the beginning. That will make the meat very tough. In here. There we go. Let me go get my spoon. There, that. Moving it around, breaking it up with the spoon. And we're just going to cook this until it's sort of browned all the way around. Nice and easy. Medium, low. Don't get weird. Keep flipping it around. There we go. Alright. I'm just going to let this cook and I'll come back in just a couple minutes and we'll have this going. I have started this at 10 minutes to 1. So you'll see the whole timeline here, how long this takes. Not very long at all. Okay, good. Okay, there's the meat, all nicely browned, just barely. And I have drained it, and we got all that stuff out of there. So that's what we do. Now I'm going to turn this on. I just turned it on for a second. So I have here about a half a cup of Vidalia onions I chopped up here. They're not fine, they're not coarse, they're just medium diced. Texas sweet onions would be fine. All right, so we got that in there. We'll start mixing them in. And I have a little bit of garlic here, and I got some in there. That's all I'm going to use. I'm going to have to put this down because I can only do this with two hands. So I'm going to squeeze that into the meat. I'll be back in a minute. So we have the garlic in there, we have the onion in there. I've not put anything else in there, no salt, no pepper. Just let this sort of warm up a little bit, mix it in. If you do not drain the meat, you're going to have an awful lot of fat in your final lasagna. And that's not going to be very pleasant at all. I'm trying to break up some of this garlic in here. You can see it every once in a while. It's sort of yellowish. Move it around. There we go. Okay. In fact, the onion is beginning to turn a little translucent here, which is wonderful. What I'm trying to do is get the oils of the onion into the meat. Ever so lightly. Alright, there we go. That looks pretty good. I'm going to put you down for a minute. Alright, there's about 2 teaspoons there. Just sort of give it a little dusting over the top. And then I have freshly ground pepper. We're going to put that in there. Unfortunately, I'm going to need 2 hands, so I have to turn you off for a minute. Okay, there's the whole 12-ounce can of tomato sauce paste. All right. So I'm going to stir that in, and then I'll come back and we'll put in the tomatoes. Okay, so I have turned in the tomato paste into the meat and garlic and onions, and boy, it tastes good. I just had a hunk, as well as my helpmate down here. Yeah, he's making sure the quality control is there. And I've put some of my put-up tomatoes in there, about 14 ounces. And right here, you could stop right here. This is really good. And don't put in too much salt, as you saw, about 2 teaspoons, because tomatoes are pretty salty in themselves. So stir them. This would make a great thing for like filling summer squash, peppers, stuffed peppers. This would be wonderful right there. Is what you got right here. I'll turn that all in, and we are just about to the part where it's just sort of going to sit here for a little bit and do its thing with some water for a while. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, I'm going to let it cook for a little bit, make sure everything's all hot all the way through. And then I'm going to add about 3 cups of water, and I'll get back to you at that point. And I'm just going to let it simmer for a long time, probably about half an hour. Get all these flavors together. Keep adding a little water as we go. And this will be our sauce. In the meantime, we'll cook up our pasta. There you go. Wow, it looks really, really good. Really, really good? Is it really, really good? Oh yeah, it's really, really good. All right, there we go. All right, I'll catch you in a couple minutes. Okay, there's 3 cups of water in there. I've stirred it up really well with the wood spoon. I took it off the big front burner. It's on the back burner, just ever so slightly, really on low. I had a little bit of that leftover parsley from my garden, and I chucked that in there. You can see little bits of green, no stems. If you have basil, you can put a little basil in there too. Remember, never, ever, ever chop basil with a knife. You tear it, and you can tear it up in little pieces. That's why I do with the parsley. You tear it, because that releases the oils. All right, so there it goes. That's going to sit there for a while. In the meantime, we're going to start doing our pasta. Okay, there's our 10 pieces of lasagna in my little cooker here. We're going to put that right in the nuke. Up you go. Sort of tough to do with one hand. There you go. In you go, right there. I am going to give it, let's say 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Start. There you go. All right, now, I'm also going to fill up this little sink with some nice cold water over here. It's like easier, and that way you don't scald your hands later on. And I'll put the pasta in here. It should be pretty much cooked ever so slightly al dente when you get it, but you want it sort of easy to move around and flexible. Never ever use the stuff they say is non-cook lasagna. I have found that does not work well at all because it absorbs the moisture out of your sauce and you end up with a hockey puck when you're done. So it's better just to do it the old-fashioned way, even though that sounds simpler. All right, so that's what we're doing. And over here, it's really slick here. That looks good. Now I had nothing pre-prepared, like pre-chopped or anything like that. So right now, I am 1/2 hour into this, and that includes timeouts for turning on and off the camera here. Yeah, there we go. That's looking really good. All right, so I'm going to start putting some things away, and I'll catch up with you in about 12 minutes. It's been 20 minutes since I left you. The sauce is really looking good. And that's perfect. I've been giving that a stir every 4 or 5 minutes. Like all things I had these made in Spain, in Seville when I was there. And over here, the pasta is done. It's been 20 minutes. What I did is I had put it on for the 12 minutes, took it out, I took a fork, I just ran it down between them to make sure they weren't sticking like that. Just flip them over a little bit. Set it for 4 minutes more, did the same thing. They were just about done then, so I just made sure none of them were sticking together. And I did 4 minutes more, and then we're done. So what I'm going to do now is drain them. And I'm going to have to put this down. This lid goes on like that. Oops. Come on. Lid goes on. I'm going to take it over to the other sink over here. We're going to drain, and then we're going to slop them in the cold water down there. Okay? And I've been cleaning up as we're going, so there's always something to do in the kitchen. We are now officially to the fun part. We're going to take a little bit of the sauce. I have a great big spoon here. A little bit of sauce. And just spread it thinly on the bottom of the pan. I'm going to get these lumps of meat out of here. Just want a little bit of a coating. Let's take some liquid here. Just a thin little coating. Cramp in the hand. There we go. More. So there's our bolognese sauce. There, perfect. So just a little bit, make sure everything's just a little bit wet down there. Okay, now, fun time. Take out one of these. Let sort of dry out a little bit. At the bottom. Oh, there. I'm doing this with one hand again, so see what we can do. One down there. One down the middle. There we go. See, they just fit very nicely in the pan. Perfect. All right, now more sauce. Cover these guys up. We are exactly 1 hour into the process right now. I have the oven preheating to 350. Now, if you're at altitude, because I cooked one of these up at Vail, I found it took a little bit higher temperature, 375, a little bit longer, as well as the noodles too. A little bit more right there. A little hole there, a little hole there. There we go, a little hole over there. How many holes? There you go. Good, cool. Now, I'm going to turn this off and put the... Okay, I may have shot that last one upside down, but you'll get over it. So we're going to cut this into 8 pieces. At the end, we're going to have one right up the middle, and then that way, that way, that way. So I put 4 nice blobs so everybody gets one, and I put a couple right down the middle, 4 down the middle, and that'll all sort of run together. Now I'm going to put the mozzarella and the 3 cheese on top of that, and I'll give you a video of that when that's done. Okay, so now you can see the mozzarella's on there, and I've sort of put a snow covering of the 3 cheese, Asiago Romano and Parmesan on top of that. And now we're going to repeat. I'm going to build this thing up, doing the same thing 2 more times. 1 layer of noodles, cheese, another layer of noodles, and well, sauce, noodles, sauce, cheese, and then another noodle, sauce, cheese on top of that, and it'll be done. Okay, here you are, just under 10 pounds. There you are. Just to let you know, that's all gone. And somebody's waiting to lick out the pan, aren't you? Yeah, you're gonna get that. Oscar, you want that? Yeah, you want that? Yeah, get that. Okay. And I used the whole sleeve of the mozzarella. I used a half of that. I used 1.5 cups of the ricotta. Okay. So, and one other thing was I was tasting the sauce as it was going along. I had 2 teaspoons of salt in there. I put about another 1.5 teaspoons in just as I was going along. So I do recommend you taste as you go. And the reason why you may have to cook it at a higher temperature at altitude is because there aren't so many atoms bouncing around off the sides and the top and the bottom. So that's why I have to go about 25 degrees higher. Seemed to work when I was out there. Okay, in the oven it goes. Let me show you a little trick in the oven here, because this will overflow a bit. Heavy duty aluminum foil, all right, wall to wall down there. And that will save you a whole mess. In it goes for half an hour. And keep your eye on it as it cooks. You don't want to burn it. You just want it to be golden brown on top, like a pizza, right? I am so glad I have an automatic pot scrubber. He sort of looked like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer when he got done with this. Now, those of you that don't have these types of pans, especially these antique types, you do not want to get in here and scrub these things out, because that wrecks them. This has been seasoned over and over again. So all I do is I take paper towel, dampen it, small amount of soap on it, and then just gently rub it all out, and it'll be good to go. Yeah, you don't want to get, the oils are deep into the pores of the steel, so you want to leave that down in there. Do never put these in a dishwasher. Good Lord, no. All right, I'll show you the results. We're getting close here pretty soon, probably another 15 minutes. There it is in all its glory. That's what it should look like when you're all done. Now, you want to leave this out. This is 29 minutes in a 350 degree oven. You want to let this sit and cool down a bit before you start diving into it. It needs to set for a while, probably about an hour. And you can eat this tonight, right now. What I do is I'll have some tonight with some garlic bread, like I need more pasta, and a nice big salad. A little red wine, there you go. What I do is I then take it and put it in the refrigerator in the pan and let it chill overnight. Then I'll cut out the pieces in eighths. and I will wrap them in saran wrap, and I'll put them in the freezer until they're frozen solid. And then I have a vacuum bag, and I get I'll cut off a great big piece of vacuum bag and put them in there so they're apart, all the pieces are apart. Vacuum that down and seal it, and then I'll put that in the freezer with the date on it. And then you take them as you want. Now, we want to defrost these puppies, put them top down in the bowl that you want to put them in, and put them in the nuke. And I usually do like 3 minutes face down, 2.5 minutes face down, then flip them over to face up, and then do another 3 minutes there. And sometimes, because the freezing process dries them a little bit, I'll take a little Newman's marinara and chuck it in there too, not much, just to moisten them up a little bit. And that's how you defrost them and eat them after that. Okay? So be kind to your wife or your significant others tonight or some other night. Bake one of these puppies up. Have a night in Florence. Do the whole thing. Also be a real sport and clean up after yourself. As you notice, this whole place is clean now. Okay? Clean, clean, clean. And have a nice treat. So that's from Wayne's Kitchen. Hope you enjoyed this. I make a fabulous meatloaf with sriracha sauce in it too, so we might do that someday. Thank you. Hi there, it's Wayne again. As a postscript to the lasagna, this took exactly 2 hours, and that's with me working with one hand and with one foot, because my assistant was on my other foot the whole time. So if I can do this in 2 hours with one hand and one foot, there you go. So anyway, enjoy and have a good time.